I just want to say welcome. My name again is Josh Cantwell. I am the CEO at Freeland Ventures Real Estate Private Equity, which is our real estate investing, flipping, and lending company. And we've done everything from flip rehabs to rental properties. We've made about 300 or 400 private lender loans. We've invested in apartment buildings all this year. So we've had a very, very busy year, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm also the CEO at strategicrealestatecoach.com, which is our coaching company. We put out great information, and we are the nation's #1 real estate coaching company. And our goal is to help our students succeed. And when our students succeed, we succeed. And so one of our students that we've helped succeed in the last basically 12 months or so is on the line live with us tonight. His name is Eduardo Lopez. He's from Texas. And so, Eduardo, just want to welcome you to the class and say thanks a lot for being here and congratulations on all your success this year. How are you? How are you holding up tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's been a busy year. When we first started, it was a heck of a joyride, but it's the climb has continued, and as of now, I'm when you look at the stats, I've got about 51 deals underneath my belt now, and just living the dream.
Wow, that is fantastic. So Eduardo, let's jump in. Let me kind of set the framework here. So you guys got our emails, obviously promoting this call. That's why you're all here. And here's what we're going to try to discuss tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Eduardo's business. We'll talk a little bit about what he's doing today. We'll backtrack a little bit and talk with him about when he sort of caught the real estate bug. And when he caught the real estate bug, what was kind of going through his head, what intrigued him about real estate. We'll talk a little bit about all the deals he's closed, which obviously has closed quite a bit this year, as you just heard. And then we'll talk a little bit about the future. What is Eduardo doing with his business? What does he see happening in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years for him? Eduardo, I'd like to hear, if you could think about it, it probably will stick out pretty quickly, about the craziest deal you've ever done. If you have a crazy deal, we'd like to hear about that. If you've got some weird deal that came across your desk, or a deal that you did, or a deal that you didn't do, that you're glad you didn't do, I always like to hear about that kind of stuff. And then finally, Eduardo, kind of going back and asking you, knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give your former self? Whether it's 12 months ago, whether it's advice you give to your son, Xavier, whether it's things you would give yourself, advice you give yourself 20 years ago. It could be business advice, finance advice, real estate advice, relationship advice, whatever that is. I always like to hear from successful people what kind of advice they would give back to their former self. And we'll talk about Eduardo's acquisition strategies and those kind of things as well. So Eduardo, you won the award for Investor of the Year. And what that basically means, for the people who don't know, is we hold 2 big live events a year. They're called the Flippin Fun Summit. We've got one coming up in December 7th through the 9th. You can check out flippinfun.com to get tickets for this event. And Eduardo's going to be there. He's going to jump up on stage with me. He's going to share some of his strategies and techniques and tell his story. So we look forward to seeing everybody at the Flippin Fun Summit, flippinfun.com. But Eduardo signed up for, came to a Flippin Fun Summit, came to the Flippin Fun Summit 8, and he signed up for one of our coaching and consulting programs, and he became eligible for what we call our Investor of the Year, or our Business and Lifestyle Design Contest. And within 6 months, basically from October of 2017 until April of 2018, Eduardo went from doing just a few deals to, within 6 months, doing over 17 deals and banking over $450,000 in profit. And when he did that and he won the award for Investor of the Year, winning that award, not only did he get a trophy, but I also agreed for our Investor of the Year to pay for either a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW for a 2-year lease. He won that, and you see him there smiling, live, hanging out with me, because he gets to look at that beautiful BMW convertible every single morning when he walks into the garage. And so, Eduardo, that's just a little bit of an introduction of the call, a little introduction of you. So help me fill in the blanks. What did I miss? Give our audience a little bit more color, a little bit more background about you, about your business, about your family. Just help us understand who you are, where you've come from.
Wow, that's a heck of an introduction.
Yeah, baby.
but I tell you guys, what, I mean, to Josh's point, the extravagant gift that was presented to me at the last Shrek conference was just phenomenal. I do walk out every morning in the garage and I see it there, and it just makes me smile. And it's a wonderful life that I'm living. And so, in terms of where I started, where I got the bug, about 3 years ago. I always knew real estate was a path to success, but I never knew then how to get there. And I had some shares pay out, and so I went out and bought a couple of properties. And the house that I was living in, I went out and I flipped that, and the 2 properties that I bought, I flipped those all by myself. And my 3 boys, they tell the story that. For 3 months solid, they painted every day. They painted, helping me out. But we got it. We got it done, and I moved into one of the houses that I flipped. But then I ran out of money, and I thought, wow, this is difficult. But I understood that there were people out there that were finding some level of success. I just didn't know what the formula was, and so I took about a year off. And last year, watched a lot of YouTube videos, did a lot of research, and came across Josh's program. I enlisted, the 40K flip, and then they transitioned into one flip, and signed up there, got some initial coaching, found some success there. I've got 2 flips there, and a couple of rental properties. But, to his point, it really didn't take off until I joined the Master Elite program. I got a wonderful coach, Kyle. He did great. He did wonders for me. A lot of coaching, a lot of expertise that he brought to the table. And I just went crazy. And found a lot of success. Did a lot of marketing, pursued a lot of channels in terms of where to find deals. I just didn't find deals, all of my deals under one marketing strategy. The deals that I were able to find, I found them as defaults. A lot of lenders down here, a lot of investing going on. There's about 13,000 investors in the DFW area. There's a lot of big hard money lenders down here, and I knocked on every door asking them if they had any deals that were in default, and a lot of those I was able to pick up and take on, and there was enough profit margin in there to find success. Deferred maintenance, I contract. I have rental properties, and I contract with one of the largest rental companies here in the DFW area. They have about 21,000 doors, and they have a lot of out-of-state and out-of-country investors. And I always knock on the door when I need another project, and I pick up rentals that have deferred maintenance, and a lot of times I'm able to put minimum finance into them and put them back out on the market, or keep them as one of my rental portfolio. Relationships with some of my fellow investors. There's about 21 investment clubs here in the DFW area. I frequent 6 of those on a weekly basis sometimes, and I find a lot of deals through other investors. Obviously, I do the search engine mining through Craigslist. I deal with some of the wholesalers. I deal with a lot of dead leads, from wholesalers that they basically throw in the trash. I'm able to find success. Last month, 3 dead deals that were considered dead by some of the wholesalers. I was able to take them and get some subject twos and get some wholesale deals out of them, profitable wholesale deals. Banded signs, I do that. I know a lot of the other Master Elite students have found great success with banded signs. I do that too. We do about 100 banded signs a week. Sometimes I'm out there doing it. Sometimes Xavier's out there doing it, but we get it done. That's right. That's right. And we get deals off of that, and then on depending on the types of lists we're processing, we do letters, door hangers. I do those, and I'll speak about some of the success I'm finding with door hangers and finding profit by some of the other contractors that I leverage, and I'll talk about that. I'm all over the Metroplex, from one end to the other. In the DFW area, you go from one end to the other, it's about 100 miles. A lot of properties. I focus on Tarrant County, Dallas, Denton, Collin, and so, so that's some of the areas that I look at in terms of how I find my deals, in terms of strategies. If I'm not picking up the 70% ARV minus repairs, I'm making decisions in terms of seller versus, or whether I sell or hold, depending on, there's about 163 strategies, or I'm sorry, 163 zip codes in the DFW area. And in those counties, I focus on the top 20. And, I get my data from some of the websites out there. Niche.com is one of them that I use to determine where the highest appreciating zip codes are. And when I find deals and I market to those areas, when I find those deals, I throw it into the rental portfolio. And just, Josh, just within the last 8 months, just using that simple strategy, finding the hottest zip codes in your market, marketing to that, and then when you do find a deal, throw it into your rental portfolio. I've been able to accumulate about 438,000 in just equity, right? And one thing that I'm doing now is working with a commercial banker to take that equity out and then put that back into the business, right? And so in terms of assignments, or in terms of where my data comes from, my appraisal district data, I literally have every house in those counties that I talked about in my database, and I continually feed data into it, and I do data mashups. Until here recently, until September, I had a day job as a database manager, and big data has always been my forte in terms of my IT career, and so I love data. I do data mashup, I do data cleansing, and I'm starting to get into real estate data, and I have databases that I'm feeding data in terms of substitute trustee foreclosure data. I'm able then to develop hotspots on that data, and so that's some of the information that I use to process those deals. And I'll get into the personas and how I run my business in a second.
What Eduardo, you mentioned, there's a question already from Franco Felice, just asking, what database are you using? Did you custom build one? Did you start with another software that you just subscribed to? What did you start with? What are you using there?
Well, in terms of a database, I use open source. I'm a database guy, so Oracle is the big database. I'm very familiar with that, but I use MariaDB. And so typically, at least here in the DFW area, the appraisal district data can be downloaded in CSV format, and I just use a multi-model database called MariaDB, and I upload my data into that, and then I use different tools like Tableau to develop heat maps against some of this data, in terms of where the greatest foreclosures are occurring, where the hottest zip codes. And then, I'm starting to look at some of the geospatial data to help me identify hotspots of where the highest number of sales are occurring, where the highest appreciation and what zip codes those are occurring in, and then using that data to market to. Nice. And so MariaDB, from a database standpoint, is where I'm using for my data warehouse.
Fantastic. So we're going to jump into some more of that. Honestly, Eduardo, I was able to give him his award for the Investor of the Year live on stage back in April, and was really excited for that, and all up on stage together. There's a lot of our members that have achieved some amazing things. So I also want to just recognize a few other people. So we currently have 66 members in our Masters Elite coaching program, and we only offer that coaching program at our live events. We have 66 members in that group right now, and 29 out of that group, 29 of the 66, made at least $100,000 in the last 12 months. So more than half are, about half are six-figure earners. A number of the others are new to the program, so they might have just started in April, or they might have just started last December. But we're very proud and happy with the results of those folks. So when we had our contest and awards in April, we had a first. What's up, Xavier?
How you doing?
How you doing, bud?
Good.
Good to see you, man. Those are some white teeth. Your dad sends you to the dentist a lot, I bet. Good to see you, man. So I was just saying, first place was the BMW or the Mercedes-Benz. Second place was a European cruise. And actually our second place winner was Cheryl Stewart. She just went on that cruise about 2-3 weeks ago. And she said she hadn't been on a vacation with her husband in 4 years because he's a successful dentist and she is a very busy mother and office manager of this dental office. But in the last 12 months, she was able to also do about 20 deals, mostly wholesale deals. And she's done over $400,000 in profit. And this calendar year of 2018, she's actually got some stuff cooking that she thinks she's going to close by the end of the year. Will push her close to $1 million. So she won the award for second place back in April. And she went on a Viking River cruise on my dime, my money. But I was super happy to send her off. And then third place was Joe Gries from Missouri. And Joe did an awesome job, and he won a Rolex watch. So here's just some of the students that we have that have done at least $100,000. They're from all over the place. They're from New Jersey, from Utah, Dallas, San Antonio, California, Maryland. James Yin is kind of from all over the place. He travels on a weekly basis all over the country. Jeff and Julia are from Texas. Jason Boyd is from all over the place. He actually invests in Brazil. He lives in Toronto with his girlfriend. He's just done some amazing, amazing things. Then we got our 250K club. So Chrissy Morrison, Nick Cordo, Joe Gries, Cheryl Stewart. We've got our $500,000 club, again, just all this year. RJ, Mike Neal, Jack Petrick, Teddy Slack, Mike Cantrell. These guys just this year closed 76 deals, made over $3.5 million. Our $1 million club, we got a couple guys that did $1 million this year. 125 deals and $3.2 million. Chris Cedar is one of our coaches, and Chris and his dad own 140 rental properties, and they continue to add to the equity in their rental portfolio. And then we've got, our two coaches, Darren and Kyle. And Kyle here is Eduardo and Xavier's coach. And Kyle's done about 300 deals, made over $3 million. And it's just been awesome. So, Joe Gries, again, just want to congratulate him. He had done just 3 flips before closing. Or before coaching, and 2 rentals. And then during his coaching membership, He closed 12 flips, added 8 rentals to his portfolio, and $264,000 in profit. Also, Joe just bought last week, 9 duplexes with none of his own money, which was really cool. You see a little picture there of Joe's Rolex that we bought him. And then Cheryl Stewart, like we said, she is really focused now on wholesaling in the Chicagoland market. She does a lot of her deals through tax deeds and tax liens. That's the lead that she gets, people who are behind in their taxes, and then she wholesales those properties to other investors. Then, of course, you have Eduardo and Xavier, who's joined us, which is awesome. So just a lot of success. And I'll be very blunt with everybody that's on the line. You know, my sort of ideal coaching student is usually between the ages of 40 to 45 to about 70 years old that also already has some resources. People who might have a full-time job and they're looking to add to their income. And when I meet someone like Eduardo, I wanted to ask you this, like this is going back to when you caught the real estate bug. Most of my most successful students, most of the students that I just love to be around that are doing really amazing things, normally what I hear from them, their number one goal is not to be worth, $50 million and buy a Ferrari. Their number one goal is normally freedom. It's the time freedom to spend time with their kids, grandkids, so they don't miss, high school football games and soccer games and kids' birthday parties and family trips. But I wanted to ask you, Eduardo, what was your motivation for doing real estate on top of, because when you had all this success, you still had a day job, right? But what was your number one reason for looking at real estate to add to your sort of legacy for your kids?
Well, my goal was to your point, to retire, or to retire early was one of my goals, so that I could spend that quality time with my family. I've been in the IT industry now going on 30 years, and so I wanted to be able to create a legacy, not only to sustain me for the balance of my life, but also to provide something for my children, right? And so, what I could give Xavier, in my mind, wasn't so much, of monetary value, but was knowledge, right? And so he's very young, and so he rolls up his sleeves and helps me, and I'm giving him the knowledge and the coaching and mentoring to succeed me. I want to. My goal was to retire in the upcoming year in 2019. That was my goal. Unfortunately, because of the market condition and the industry sector that we're in, my position was eliminated in September. It was fortuitous, so to speak, because now, my better half, Patty, said, "Ed, you have no other reason but to succeed now. Go for it." And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking everything that I've learned while I had a job and applying it, and it's going. And I'm going to continue to ride this wave. I'm going to continue to provide this knowledge. My other son upstairs, that's what he wants to do, is to get into real estate, to get into what I'm doing, and find a career and a way of life. And so, quality of life is what I'm pursuing. I'm getting there. Knowledge is what I'm giving to my children, and I'm going to continue to build wealth. And I don't want to be a burden on my children, and I want to be able to provide them something sustainable for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, right. That's fantastic, and that's actually a pretty regular recurring theme with our group. Guys that Eduardo, like Cheryl and Joe and Kyle and Mark Carmona from San Antonio and Mike Neal, who's also in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Jeff Henderson, who's in Utah, all of our different members that I've already mentioned. I don't think any of us really care about like driving a Lamborghini or having a Ferrari. You know, sometimes I think about a Ferrari, actually a nice red one. But you know, it's not something I really care about. I could have bought one of those a long time ago if I really wanted one. So for a lot of our members, it's about building something, growing something. It's the entrepreneur in us. Real estate is the vehicle we've chosen, and it's a way to build something to get passive income. So what I see a lot of our members doing, just like you, is I want to build passive income. I want to add to my rental portfolio. I want this cash flow to grow and grow and grow and grow. And in the meantime, when it's growing, if it's not yet enough to pay all my bills, if it's not yet enough to provide me the lifestyle that I want, then I'm going to backfill that with a bunch of rehab flips and wholesale deals for current income today, and continue to build and add to my cash flow so that when I do decide to retire, whenever that is, that I have lots and lots of passive income and lots of equity, which will then become a legacy for my kids. And that sounds like pretty much exactly what you've done.
I'm trying, and it's happening. Going from I was very successful in what I was doing in my corporate job, but going from that to what I'm doing now, I'm continuing to build my portfolio, building that passive income, but I'm also building, income through assignments. I'm building income through lending money now. And so as I acquire additional money, I either reinvest it back into the business or lend it out to other investors. And so, I'm continually building different levers within my business strategy so that I can, generate revenue in many different methods.
Yeah, fantastic. So I know you've already mentioned some of this, but about property acquisition strategy. So I'll skip that one because we already covered it. But for those people that are on the line, and a lot of them start with real estate with a full-time job. So one of the very frequent questions that I get is, how do I do real estate as a side hustle, right? How do I do real estate part-time so that I can add to the current income that I have and then eventually build up my security, my safety net to leave my job? That's a very, very often recurring scenario. So just help us understand, what was that like for you? How did you manage it all?
Well, when I first started, I had a 401k, and so I was able, from a side hustle, I was able to take that and was able to leverage a portion of that to acquire my first rental property. And then from there, I thought, well, if I can acquire a rental property, why don't I just leverage my 401k to do flips? And so I leveraged that existing 401k to purchase or to fund the next 3 flips that I was doing. And then, through your training and coaching, I discovered, hard money lending, and then was able to acquire funding for hard money. And so in that situation, I was able to realize the revenue from the flips and put those back into the business, right? And so from a side hustle perspective, some of the things that I covered in terms of where you find your deals, just some of the things we've talked about here. You can go back and listen to the video, but there's many different areas of where you can acquire your deals, and you don't have to do 5, 6, 7, or 8 flips at a time. You start small, and you will learn from it. And that's how I started. And so then coaching helps a lot. What you're seeing, what's materializing at the work site. Is this right? You leverage your coach to bounce some of the ideas, as a sounding board. And I was able to immerse myself in that and learn a lot. And every day I continue to learn. We're doing a pretty sizable rehab right now, and just from a zoning perspective, from a permitting perspective, I continue to learn. I learned something today about that, and so From a side hustle perspective, consistency, I guess you don't have to do all the, all the areas. You don't have to canvas all the areas that I cover. Pick one, be consistent, find your first deal, and don't beat yourself up if it isn't the first deal. I probably looked at, when I first joined Shrek, my first coach was Milton, and so
Yeah.
Millen, and so I probably looked at maybe about 60 deals before the first one landed in my lap, and it was a flip, and I shared the data with Millen, and then we got a contract on it, and that's where it started, and then 4 months into that, and when I joined the Master Elite program, there was a period of time where my goal was to do 10 flips, and I even had a day job, and it was insane. And I never made it to 10. I got to 9 and I backed off. I said, that's just craziness, because my phone was literally blowing up the entire day. Couldn't get any work done. But you start small, and you don't have to compete, and you do what you're comfortable with, and that's what I did. And so there's many different funding techniques out there. I've raised more than $600K of private money to continue to feed my business, to do these flips. I do a lot of joint ventures with some of the other investor partners. And so, funding a deal isn't an issue for me. And as the more and more you do, the more and more you discover, and you begin to build that relationship, that investment network that you need to make you succeed.
Yeah, it starts just with one, and it doesn't matter how it gets done, whether it's a wholesale deal, whether it's your own money, whether it's private money. And that's really what I love to teach, right? Because I've always said funding equals freedom. You can make a lot of money wholesaling, and a lot of our students do that. But my big focus for all of our students is owning assets, owning big rehab flips, big rentals, pools of rentals, duplexes, apartment buildings. I just met with a good friend of mine, Tim, for lunch today, and he's got a 407 unit apartment building down in Georgia that we're going to be putting a couple $1 million into that. And that creates passive income for my investors and for me. So whatever it is, like, that's my philosophy has always been, like, start with the big assets, go after the big stuff. You don't have to start with wholesaling. But if, like Eduardo's, like, I got 9 flips, I don't want to take on any more. Well, then it's like, okay, well, now I can backflip with some more wholesale deals, some more singles and doubles, while I'm waiting for my grand slams and home runs to pay off. So it doesn't matter if you start with wholesaling and move up to your big flips. A lot of my students just start with big flips, and then they backfill the free time or the extra deal flow into wholesaling. For just consistent cash flow. It's very, very important. But it's good now, Eduardo, because you've got all this free time to just focus on your real estate business only, huh?
Yeah. In fact, what I picked up the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks is I've really began to build a name for myself here, and I have other investors that are contacting me to do their flips, and so I'm earning revenue, project managing flips, all right? And that only doesn't require a lot of time. I have 3 active crews, and so, I keep them, busy and hungry, and I might even interview in a couple of other crews. And so I'm beginning to build another side business, flipping houses for other investors, other large investors too. So there's a multifamily that one of the investors just purchased, and so he's serenading us, for some bids to come out and take a look at that. But chances are we'll probably pick that up as well. And so, you don't know where this business is going to lead you, and so my goal within a year, within 2017 to this year, was just to do 2 flips and 2 rentals. And I never knew it was going to lead me here. And it's just opened up so many opportunities. Assisted living is something that I'm getting into and looking to pursue. And so multifamily, in the commercial space, there's a lot of your students that are in that and have found great success. And, that's something that I'm looking to pursue. When we talk about the big, hairy, audacious goals for the upcoming year and a multi-year view, assisted living is something that I'm going to get into, multifamily. And, in some of the 401k management and, lending money, I'm even attending some of the local 401k investment clubs and aggregating, investment opportunities lower than 20K so that we can put together a large sizable portfolio and then lend that to other investors. And so, how would I've known that life is going to lead me down that space unless I'm actively living it on a daily basis? And you'll see these opportunities when you jump in. And, coaching is a big piece of it too.
He started with our sort of online group coaching. We called it 40K flips. Now we call it one flip. And then he enrolled in a one-on-one coaching program on the phone with one of our coaches, Millen Atwood, and did that for 3 to 6 months. And then came to our event and enrolled in what's called our Masters Elite coaching program, which is a full year of coaching and consulting. And so Eduardo's success has been, taken to the next level and the next level and the next level, partially because he continues to associate with people at a higher and higher and higher level. So Eduardo, I just want to, acknowledge that, because you probably wouldn't be here today doing all the things that you're doing unless you continue to, kind of force yourself to associate and move up your game, talking with, networking with, getting coaching from more and more elite people. So just maybe talk to that for a quick sec. What has that meant for you?
Well, the philosophy stands, right? I mean, if you want to better yourself, you've got to find people that are better than you. You've got to find those people that have done it. You've got to find those people that that have found success. And so not only, have the coaches found success, but so have the students, the masterminds. It's just amazing, how how ideas and opportunities are presented that you never even thought of. I'm a very analytical person, but the last mastermind that I attended, just some of the ideas that came out of there that just blew my mind. And so, coaching is, find success in any sport, any industry. If you want to better yourself, you find a coach. You find that have found success in the past. You find the coach that has done it, and your coaches are very, very impressive. I mean, there's nothing much that I haven't asked that they haven't given me a perspective that I didn't think of.
Yeah.
And so get coaching. It's important. It will be the accelerator that will catapult your career. You can try it on your own, but I will guarantee you that I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't found this success had I not found this coaching opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to find coaching, because coaching doesn't stop year one, year two. You continue to invest in yourself. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your family. It's an investment in your life.
Absolutely. I mean, here I am, 13, 14, 15 years in the business, and I'm still investing in masterminds and being around amazing people. And, I go to different life coaching events. I've been to Tony Robbins in the last year with my wife, and, continuing to invest in those kind of things because, you don't want to ever stop improving, whether it's a relationship improvement, whether it's raising money, whether it's in finance, real estate. Maybe it's learning about assisted living. Maybe it's a better relationship with your kids. there's always other people have something to share. Speaking of your kids, Xavier, what's going on with you, man? What role is Xavier playing in the business today? What is he up to? How is he creating value for the family? What's going on, bud?
So what I've been doing for the past few months or almost the whole year is that job or that house he was talking about that he had gotten up in Cedar Hill, a 5,000 square foot house. And that's my first big project he has me doing. So I was just going to the job site, managing with the contract or meeting with the contractors, subcontractors, sourcing materials, making things are going smoothly and that kind of stuff,
Yeah. And you're how old?
21 now. I just turned 21 now.
You're 21 and your dad gave you a 5,000 square foot project to start with.
Yeah.
Good for you, Eduardo. Don't take it easy on the kid. He's capable. He's talented. Give him a big one, man.
Yeah.
5,000 is a good place to start.
No, he's done a wonderful job. And it's coaching and mentoring, and he's also, he also learned, project management skills, organization skills.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, people didn't respect him, because of who he was and how young he was, but he earned their respect. And the funny thing about it is when the contractors send us quotes, they send it to him. And so, when you talk about building your team and you talk about the different personas within the team, and he's an integral part of my team. He's 21 and he's got a couple of rental properties. He's got a duplex and another rental property that he's acquired, and so he acquired those when he was 20. And so, his next step is, apart from project management, is, to get him more into the transaction management. And so learning more of the business. And so that's some of the things that we're working on right now.
Yeah, that's killer. That's awesome. Can you share how the coaching with Kyle helped you get to the next level? Like, how was it doing the coaching with such a big distance between the two of you? Because obviously Eduardo's down in Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area. Kyle lives up in Chicago. And do you think you'd be where you are today without the coaching from Kyle and from Josh?
Honestly, guys, distance doesn't mean anything. For most of my career, I managed abroad. And so, communication, as long as communications can happen over telephony, over, the computer, it really doesn't matter where the person
right now.
Exactly. Hey, this is the first time I'm using this product and we made it work, right?
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. But, from a coaching perspective, how that helped me, he sat down, he reviewed the goals. It's very important, not a single, business pattern can be applied to everyone. What is it that you're trying to achieve? We sat down with Kyle and, we reviewed our aspirations. We reviewed our, what we were trying to accomplish. We reviewed what our background was from a toolkit, skills perspective. We reviewed that. And we put together a plan in terms of actionable steps, there was even boots on the ground. He actually came on site and, he met my contractors, he met my realtors, he went on the job site and looked at some of my work. He actually was the only guy that, I was doing a rehab and the backsplash granite was a different color than the actual granite itself. And he looked at it, he goes, "Why is the granite different?" I said, "You're the only one that is picking it up." Yeah. But in sincerity, putting together a concrete set of goals, putting together an action plan, executing on the action plan. You talk about scary. It was very scary, and but you learn so much, and you have that sounding board. There was times that I would call him out of the blue, with concerns that I had. A job was going south. More plumbing issues were found. We found termites, and And, the coaching and the lecturing and the consultation that he would give me would always help me realize that we could work through this, right? And so it's that constant touch that was being offered, and distance didn't matter. Distance didn't really matter.
It doesn't. We invest and lend all over the country. I've flipped houses in 25 different states. I've lent in 30 different states. Most of those properties I never saw. We just funded a 753 unit apartment building in Georgia that we never saw. We're funding another 407 units in Georgia that we'll never see. I just funded 35 units in New Orleans that I never saw. And so we're in a virtual world, man. A lot of things can be done via, softwares like this, pictures, video, online applications and platforms to get comps, to get values. So if you're thinking like, wow, that seems really advanced, you just need to open up your mind more. Like, that's happening everywhere, all over the country. And just really, really awesome. So cool. So Eduardo, kind of final question, because we kind of wrap up here, and you kind of round third base, to use a baseball analogy, and kind of head home. We'll wrap this up in the next few minutes. Where do you want to take your business in the next 3 to 5 years to 10 years? Like, you're doing this full time now. There's no more job. You have time. You've got 3 very capable sons who are involved in the business with you. And you're obviously taking on a lot of different investment strategies in a very short amount of time, in just the last year or so. You're doing assisted living and rehab flips, wholesaling, rentals, private lending. You're doing it all. But where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years, and then 10 years and beyond? Where would you like to be, and why would you like to accomplish that?
Let's see. So where I see myself in, 5 to 10 years, honestly, within 5 years, I plan to put a business model in place where I can work when I want to. I can take off when I want to. The business runs itself, and so, believe it or not, that's some of the things that I'm working on right now, is putting the systems in place so that it doesn't require me to be here every day. So when you first start in this business, you've got to wear multiple hats, right? The office manager, the acquisition manager, the project manager. And so I hired a VA. He's a superstar. In fact, at the summit, one of the vendors there gave a presentation, went out and contracted with him, outstanding. And so I've hired my VA, and he helps me with acquisitions, setting up the appointments, for the contracts. I'm serenading a couple of good realtors, to come on board to be my acquisition agents. I'm beginning to cross-train Xavier to be my transaction manager. And so putting the process in place is very important, and it's something that I'm going to diligently continue to work on. And so within the next 6 months, I plan to have the business in place where it doesn't require me to be here every day, right? And so, within 5 years, imagine, having a business that can run itself with minimal effort on your part, putting the systems and guidance and controls in place. So 5 to 10 years, I plan to be taking it easy, retire. Yeah, I'm done. And the guys living it up and leveraging the systems and business in place where they can take off, 1 or 2 days, travel the world if they want to, and the business is going to continue to run. I mean, there's a lot of your coaches today that do just that. And that, from a business evolution perspective, that's where I'm going, right? Yeah. And so, wealth is going to come from that. And we're going to continue to build wealth in this business, and it can take us many different areas. But that's where I see myself is putting a business in place where I don't have to work as hard as I do, and not even work at all. enjoy my family, enjoy my grandkids in the future. And so that's where I plan to be. But, I'll be in the multifamily, I'll be in commercial, I'll be in assisted living, I'll be in lending, and probably somewhere greater than that, right? But first and foremost, I'm laser focused on building the system, building the business so that I can take off and let the business run itself.
Yeah. You've got to be in sprint mode when you first get started. When you're in sprint mode and you're accumulating a lot of deals, but also every deal is an opportunity to learn. So
Absolutely.
The faster you go, the more speed you have, the more you learn, the faster you learn, which just makes you a more capable, more equipped investor. So, there's a big difference between people that I've mentored and coached and guys who, after 12 months, they've only made, 2, 3, 4 offers a month. After, those 12 months, they've made about 50 offers versus the guys like a Joe Gries, like you, like other students we've had who will literally make 50 offers in a month and every month thereafter.
Yeah.
And the knowledge that you're accumulating in looking at deals, making quick decisions, exit strategies, deal analysis, you're getting 12 times as much over the course of a 1-year program. So speed sprinting is important. And at the same time, keeping one eye on, okay, what have I learned? What system can I build? What system can I build from what I've learned so that the next person can step in the next time and they can, manage the deal. They can manage the system. They can manage the contract. They can manage the general contractor, the wholesale deal. They can do it next time. So that's really what business is all about. That's not a real estate, lesson. That's an entrepreneurial lesson.
Right.
It's doing it, and keeping one eye on, okay, I've got to backfill with a system. I've got to backfill with a system. I've got to backfill with a document. I've got to backfill with a checklist that will make this the next time I don't have to do it. Or even if I do it, it's faster, it's easier. And that's where I think that's the difference between an elite entrepreneur and somebody that just makes a lot of money. Somebody that makes a lot of money can make a lot of money doing it. And an elite entrepreneur will do it, backfill with a system so that eventually business that they don't have to worry about, falling apart or breaking or anything like that. So, Eduardo, you've come a long way, my friend, in a year, a long way. So I just want to say congrats. It's, it's been awesome to witness, been awesome to be a part of. And I appreciate you jumping on here tonight.
No, thank you guys so much. And like I said, Josh, you've provided me a wonderful opportunity. You've provided my family, and that it really touches me because it's going to be something that has changed my life, and I'm going to continue to grow. And to your point, I'm becoming an entrepreneur. And there's just so much that I'm learning as a result of doing this. And so this opens up so many doors for you. And so, guys, take advantage of it. I mean, very, very rarely do you get an opportunity to be part of something like this. And the sky isn't the limit. I mean, you can even go beyond that. And so take advantage of it. Take advantage of this training. Take advantage of the coaching. And just make a better life for yourself.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So as I mentioned when we first got started, Eduardo's gracious enough to jump on tonight. He's a busy guy. He's also going to be out at the Flippin Fun Summit in Vegas. There's a lot of reasons to attend. If you go to flippinfun.com, you'll see that special offer. You'll see all the reasons to be there. But one of the reasons you should be there is because Eduardo's going to be there. I'll be there. My coaches will be there. Eduardo's going to be there. He's going to jump up on stage, teach a little bit about some of the strategies that he's using, talk about some of the deals he's closed. You'll be able to talk with him, live and, just kind of learn through osmosis, learn through some of the things that he's done. And so look, the Flippin Fun Summit is an amazing opportunity. I love it because for me, I get to coach a massive crowd, 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, how many people show up? I get to coach a massive crowd for 3 straight days and give everything that's up in my head, give it all to them, in 72 hours. By the time it's over, I usually just want to sleep for a week because I'm so tired. But it's so much fun for me. And so the Flippin Fun Summit, it's not a networking event. It's not a seminar. It's not, a pitch fest. We don't have anything. Nobody's going to come in from any outside speakers and sell anything. It's just us. It's just me, my students, our coaching students, our members, our coaches, and it's just content for 3 days. And Eduardo was obviously there, loved it, decided to jump to the next level. And so I hope all of you jump in too. Right now, this week only, we've dropped the price substantially. Again, the price is going to go back up on Saturday. Seats are just $197, and that also includes access to our Accelerated Investor Wholesaling Academy, 30 days access to our software, Accelerated Investor Office, and the Matrix Deal Analyzer. So if you're going to come to the event, I would highly suggest that you get enrolled today or tomorrow because come Saturday, price is going to go back up and you're going to lose out on some of the bonuses. So again, you can call 216-716-7720 or go to flippinfun.com. So Eduardo, listen, as we finish up here, is there any kind of final words, kind of parting shots, any final pieces of advice, anything that you would go back and say, I would go back maybe 18 months ago and tell my former self this advice, or, you've got your son sitting, right over your shoulder. This is some advice I would give my 21-year-old son, or this is some advice I'd give myself 20 years ago. What's maybe just one or two pieces that you think you can pass along to our audience tonight?
Well, I guess fear. Don't let fear guide you. Seek knowledge, get coaching, get training. If I would have done something differently, 2 years ago when I first started, had I known that it existed, I certainly would have started back then, and I would probably be in a much greater place today. Likewise, even Xavier sees the opportunity in coaching. Even my younger son sees, the opportunity that this has given us. And so, don't let fear guide you. Seek training, seek self-improvement, seek coaching as an accelerator to a better place in your life. Is what I can say, Josh. I mean, again, thank you. Your wonderful coaches, your staff. It's an outstanding program.
I appreciate that, Eduardo. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing everything tonight, from the acquisition strategies. There's a couple more people that have asked about acquisition strategies, and Eduardo covered that at the very beginning. So if you missed that piece, go back, listen to the video. Either we'll post this on our blog or we'll post this on Facebook. Go back and listen because we covered that at the beginning of the call. Funding, talked about deal acquisition. We've covered a lot of stuff. And so, this is really fun. It's nice to just get on and kind of spitball with you, Eduardo, and not have a super tight agenda and just tell stories and just enjoy some time together. So I look forward to seeing you in Vegas in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Well, listen, to all of our audience that's here, thank you so much for being here. As always, like my friend Joe Nemeth, who is in my market, is a local investor. He actually has wholesaled me a number of properties, and he's also a coaching student of ours. He said something a few weeks ago that I thought was really cool. He said, we all do better when we do deals together. And I thought that was really cool. And, we funded lots and lots of deals for our students. Our students are wholesaling properties to each other. They're doing rehabs together. They're joint venturing together. And then they're also sharing their war stories together. And I think that's the most important piece, is the community about being together, sharing ideas, latching on to an organization and a group that you have a lot in common with. And that's what Eduardo did. That's what a lot of our other successful students have done. And so all of you, if you're kind of on the fence or you're not tied in, just encourage you to, take that step, get tied in with us, come to the Flippin Fun Summit, be on our live calls, engage with us every week on Facebook or wherever you can be on one of our live classes. Just, if it's not with us, get with someone or some organization, some coach, some mastermind that you can be a part of, because it's been a huge part of my success, huge part of Eduardo and Xavier's success is just being connected to a dynamic and fun community. Make sure you do that for yourself. You don't need to go at it alone. Don't climb the ladder of success by yourself. Do it with a group. Do it with an organization. It'll be way more fun. You'll learn way more. Of course, I hope it's with us. But if it's not, just go join someone, spend time with someone, and it's going to elevate you to the next level. So to everybody, Eduardo, again, Xavier, thanks so much for being on tonight. Really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll see everybody at the Flippin Fun Summit. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I look forward to helping all of you guys achieve your goals. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.